Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 vortex discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about the significance of the arrival of Boruto on the battlefield, but I want to go from a different perspective. So instead of talking about Sarada, which Sarada fans, I am warning you right now. There is a 15-minute brutally honest video that's looking at a multitude of different things that's going to be dropping in the next few days, where we are going to address some of the red flags that came out of that Sarada versus Hidari fight. I'm waiting on approval from a sponsor for that video. However, for right now, I want to shift to the arrival of Boruto being right there on the battlefield as Hidari has Sarada squirming underneath him while his wood release was busted out and crushing her. This is a moment that has potential to change the series in a major way, and in today's newest Naruto Explained video, we're going to tell you why you should care about this fight a whole lot more than you currently might do. So just to be upfront, Boruto coming in right now in this very moment, it is significant because he is confronting Hidari and he is saving Sarada while he is in the presence of Konohamaru. It was not by mistake that Konohamaru was on the battlefield against Hidari, blocked him with the Chidori by using the wind release Rasen barrier Jutsu, which happens to be a variation of the Rasengan, applying a change in chakra shape in a defensive barrier, and he was not knocked unconscious when that happened. The reason why I say this is that those small details, they matter a lot when it comes to storytelling. So allow me to explain. So prior to this, Konohamaru was right there with Shikamaru, outright questioning why is it that Sarada has so much faith in Boruto, a traitor, a murderer of the Hokage, saying, hey, if he was really innocent of all of these charges, then why did Boruto run away? In Konohamaru's mind, he remembers Boruto not as the boy who he taught the Rasengan to, but instead as the boy who he was chasing after because he thought he killed Naruto, and he tried to kill Boruto for a second time. He was joining Sasuke and giving chase after Boruto in his mind. Yet look at what happened. Boruto, he got away, and Konohamaru spent the last 3 years not realizing the person who he should have been angry with was Kawaki, and that Kawaki was lying to everyone about being Naruto's son. I lay out all of that context for this reason. It can be argued a lot of the emotion that was inside of Konohamaru bottled up over the last 3 years. It prevented Konohamaru from seeing the logic in what Sarada was saying. A lot of it was due to the effects of omnipotence, which makes the person under the influence omnipotence start questioning what it is that they see wrong with reality, and they just accept it unless they are just constantly fighting to suppress their memory and accept that everything that they know as a memory is a false memory. Hence, Boruto told Shikamaru, hey man, don't even try to fight omnipotence. Don't even try to make sense of anything I'm telling you. Just trust in what I'm saying. And that's why Sasuke began to freak out once he realized that he couldn't trust his own memories because his mind had been tampered with. Konohamaru being there on the battlefield right now, being completely conscious, means that he is now able to see with his own two very eyes the very thing that Sarada was saying, that Boruto is someone that everyone in Konoha has the wrong idea about. In Konohamaru's mind, Boruto should have no connection to Konoha worth salvaging. Yet, he saved the village from Code, but as we saw, there were still questions of, were Boruto and Code working together? Or were they just having a dispute inside of Konoha and it was all coincidence? All of that changes right now. Because while Kawaki did tell the sensory unit, hey, Boruto, he's working with these awakened Shinju. He's right here at the site of the murdered Joni. Everybody put out $100,000 on Boruto's head. We're gonna go collect that bounty right now. Konohamaru, he has two working eyes of his own, and what he's going to see is not going to match what he's told. He's going to watch Boruto battle the very intruders who killed his comrades, the intruders that Boruto should have been in cahoots with. He's watching as Boruto save Naruto's daughter from certain death, save the daughter of a man that he supposedly killed. And then he saved Sarada from Hidari as he was attempting to eat her up. Actions, they speak louder than words, or so the expression says. But in the case of Boruto, his actions, they ain't just speaking. They're shouting through a megaphone. And he's spray painting "I am innocent, you idiots" on the Hokage monument in the process. We have a really good chance, in my opinion, of Konohamaru watching Boruto battle Hidari, and he has the same uncomfortable feeling that Sasuke had in chapter 80 of Boruto Naruto Next Generation, where Sasuke goes, "None of this makes sense. So let me get this straight. You have my headband, but Kawaki, he should have my headband. You have the scar that Kawaki should have. Momoshiki's chakra's inside of you, but it's supposed to be inside of Kawaki." And Sasuke just started freaking out that he couldn't trust his own memories and was using very careful, guarded language like, "If you are truly Naruto's son," end quote, end quote. Despite Ada and Boruto having a full-blown conversation right in front of him, laying out everything that happened, the why and all of it, that proved everything that Boruto said was the truth. Omnipotence had that strong of a hold on him that despite all that overwhelming evidence, including a confession by one of the other parties, he still had to sit there and say, "If you are truly Naruto's son, and hey, I'm only working with you because I'm taking my daughter's words for it." With Konohamaru, the stage it is being set for the exact same thing, especially if Sarada's talking to him while Boruto's fighting. Boruto, when he fights Hidari, is going to use the Rasengan more likely than not. That's one of Boruto's signature jutsu. Konohamaru is going to know right away, hey, this ain't right. He taught his student the Rasengan, and so in his mind, he thinks his student is Kawaki, yet here is Boruto, someone his mind believes is Naruto's student, who doesn't care about ninjutsu, does not care about the shinobi arts, yet he's suddenly using the Rasengan, a jutsu that is the pinnacle changing chakra shape in a battle and using multiple versions of a Rasengan. That's not something that a kid who shows no interest in ninjutsu should be able to make that many different versions of a Rasengan in his own with no ninja background, especially if he uses a vanishing Rasengan on top of that. The only way it makes sense is if Konohamaru realizes, hey, wait a second, was Sarada telling the truth? Now let's take it a step further here. Boruto using the flying Raijin in battle, it is the same thing. Konohamaru knows that that is a jutsu that Tobirama created, though everybody forgets Tobirama created it, and that Minato perfected it. Yet here we have Boruto spamming a jutsu just like that. It's a jutsu that you expect for Naruto's true son to use, because his true son is literally a child who has multiple times been stated to be the second coming of Minato, because Minato's genetics were so genius and so overpowered that they needed to wait 20 years and impose a stupidity nerf onto Naruto, leaving him having to sing the Biju song in order to learn their names of the 9 Biju. Yes, I know this anime opening, but you get the point that I'm saying, because otherwise those Biju name, they would have had too many syllables for Naruto to start connecting the dots to. And if you tell Naruto to start connecting the dots, he would literally start connecting dots because he doesn't understand phrases, because Naruto was an idiot at 12 years old. Konohamaru seeing those things out of Boruto, he's going to start asking a lot of questions. And it just continues what we've seen and what we saw when Omnipotence happened. One of the things we kept saying was that the trend line for Boruto Part 2 would be the fact that the story would be that of a boy who lost everything that he took for granted, slowly reclaiming it all and reclaiming his birthright in the process. The first two who Sarada is shown arguing with, they are Shikamaru and they are Konohamaru. Boruto has already won over Shikamaru, and now it is time for Konohamaru to fall into place here. I think that's where the narrative is starting to put things in place next. If you have Boruto and Sarada and say they're fighting together and you start seeing them use ninjutsu, combination ninjutsu, teamwork formations that Konohamaru would have drilled in them when they were part of the same team as Team 7, it's going to be another warning bell in his mind. Hey, something's not right here. Konohamaru isn't the genius that Sasuke is, let alone Shikamaru, but he is someone who is smart enough in his own right that the physical volumes of the Boruto manga tells us in the Boruto files that Naruto and Shikamaru both consider him to be a genius. It's not on the same level of Sasuke and Shikamaru, and in Sasuke Shinen, the teacher star pupil, it reveals that Sasuke thinks very highly of Konohamaru as a shinobi, making him one of the high points of their generation. even if he isn't as strong as himself and Naruto, because duh, Naruto and Sasuke can blow up a continent. Sasuke doesn't give out compliments lightly. If he gives you a compliment, it is because you earned it. The biggest downside to all of this is that Omnipotence has been in effect for so long that it's possible he can't break through the fog, and even if he does, as Momoshiki and Boruto told us, it's not like a genjutsu where you realize, hey, this isn't right, and things go back to normal. Even though we still have people in the fandom who think that's the case, that's not how it works. With this, even if you know the truth, the effects, they stay in place. Your memory stays altered. However, with Shikamaru, we saw it is still possible for someone to have that fog slapped out of them with the right circumstances, but it's up to them to continue to trust and ignore that their memories have been altered. Just trust that, hey, what I remember is not actually what happened. With Mitsuki, we saw the right thing is enough to make someone question the reality that they're living under, but it's also important to remember an important bit of context. With Mitsuki, he was already questioning things despite how his memory recalled stuff. He was wondering if Kawaki was still his son, or even if he was ever truly his son. And Boruto, that battle, it gave him the very thing that he was looking for, a sunlight that was shining on him. Yet he was still talking to Ada, and he still wasn't able to fully shake the effects of Omnipotence, referring to Kawaki as his son, and that he still cares for Kawaki. There is something there if we're being honest here. And what's going to be interesting is how Kawaki handles this as it becomes clear more and more that people are starting to see through the deception, just as Damon warned us when he said, hey, these Shinjus showing up, that's going to be the beginning of your end when it comes to this lie you've been telling. What you going to do when these guys start saying, yo, where's Naruto at? Naruto ain't dead. Show me where he at. What does Konohamaru do the next time he's with Shikamaru? That's something we gotta keep our eyes on. If he says, hey, we need to talk about Boruto right now, dude, you run into the possibility of Ada catching on to it if they suddenly stop speaking right after that and they're communicating via the mind transmission jutsu. It is a plot point that I expect to be exposed in time, where she learns the truth of how different people in Konoha have been circumventing her Sharingan powers. That is a Chekhov's gun that was loaded up and placed on the bedside table at the end of Boruto Part 1. At some point, we're gonna see the payoff of Shikamaru's warning that Ada can never learn the truth about what they're doing, which, for new viewers who have not heard me say this is a Chekhov's gun, that's an expression that says in writing, if you introduce a gun into a story, a loaded gun, at some point in the story, that gun's gotta get fired off at least one time. I don't expect Konohamaru to throw down here. We've seen enough from him for right now. He's clearly improved, but this is the one situation where him being placed on the sideline, it makes the most sense. It's not like what we saw in Boruto Naruto Next Generation's chapter 58, where Naruto, he's holding back Konohamaru as Konohamaru is trying to stop Kawaki from attacking Team 7, where Naruto basically looks back at him and says, hey man, if you go there right now, if you go there because you all gassed up, I'm not going to be able to stop you from getting your ass kicked. And Konoha, they cut back on the Shinobi healthcare insurance. So if you go to the hospital, that's going to be on you, fam. I ain't footing the bill for it because I tried to stop you. This has the makings for another rather nasty bomb to go off. And I cannot wait to see Konohamaru's reaction. And I hope you're just as excited about this possibility the way that the new Chainsaw Man chapter cliffhanger has me hyped for the next chapter, which my review is over here on the left side of the screen, and over here on the right we got the Boruto chapter review for those of you guys who have not seen it yet.